Om Shanti. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Welcome to another Yoga Small Talk, and we continue with 7 minutes Bhagavad Gita a day. We're reading from chapter 5, the Yoga of the Renunciation of Action, and we've heard how the path of Karma Yoga takes us to knowledge. Verse 21 continues the same notion. With the self unattached to external contacts, he finds happiness in the self. With the self engaged in meditation of Brahman, he attains to endless happiness. So we have heard in the previous verses that once we reach the siddhi, the attainment of the practice, this is a state of a sage, and the sage has true equanimity. It's no longer a practice, true equal vision, and he's always established in them. And here we are told also, in this state of being established in true equanimity, in true equal vision, being established in the Supreme Truth, in the Supreme Reality, is a state of endless happiness. So the meditation here does not mean necessarily sitting on the meditation cushion. Meditation, remember, one-pointed mind. Being focused on one thing over a long period of time. So here this person is constantly established in the self, in the Supreme, because as we saw before, for this person there is nothing else. All he sees is the Supreme in everything. So he is constantly in a state of meditation on the self, but it is a yes and a no, because this person has transcended the mind. Remember? He purified the mind and transcended to self-consciousness, self with capital S. So this is not our meditation, which is action. Our meditation is action. It is action done with the mind. We sit for meditation and we say, I am meditating. Therefore, it is an action done with the mind. Here, when the person is already established in the self, we're using the word meditation because we need to verbalize it somehow to make it accessible for our mind to understand. But this person has already transcended the mind. Their meditation is not an action. It's just a nuance that is good to keep in mind, because we have to use some terminology so that we can relate to those things. As we said when we were reading Swami Shivananda's commentary to previous verses, he says this experience is magnificent beyond description, meaning words cannot go there, words will not take us there, but still Lord Krishna needs to instruct. To instruct who? To instruct Arjuna, and through Arjuna, of course, us, and we are not there yet. So just telling us, yes, this is such an amazing state. I can't even describe it to you. Just go and practice. Well, especially when we need to do this practice at the expense of other things, or, for instance, in the case of Arjuna, he needs to do the practice. He needs to fight his family and friends and teachers. So for him to do the practice is something that's very unpleasant. So we are asked to do things that we are not necessarily comfortable with. And if we're told, yes, I can't explain to you why, but you'll have to take my word. Where will our inspiration come from? Where will our hope come from? Where will our devotion come from? Where will our faith come from? And of course, the teachers understand this, so they verbalize those things that cannot be verbalized. But do not mistake the practice of meditation that the ignorant does sitting, saying, I am meditating, which is already a very, very good condition, because at least the person is on the way, is making the self-effort, gives value to the practice, already very good. But when the person is established in the self, there is no longer, I am meditating. There is no longer the action which is done with the mind. And the intention here is just that this person is constantly in the consciousness of the Supreme. There is nothing else in their mind. Swami Shivananda tells us, when the mind is not attached to external objects of the senses, when one is deeply engaged in the contemplation of Brahman, he finds undecaying bliss in the self within. Already when our meditation, the ignorant meditation, yes, is stronger, we start feeling this bliss. But then we transcend. If you want to enjoy the imperishable happiness of the self within, you will have to withdraw the senses from the respective objects and plunge yourself in deep meditation on the self within. This is the gist of this verse. Meditate as an action. Plunge yourself. Do it sincerely. Put an effort into it, with faith, with devotion. And then you will reach this meditation that is beyond meditation. And in this state, there is absolute bliss, endless happiness, meaning it's an established state. It's no longer subject to going and returning to my mood, to the weather, to if I like what I ate, if somebody spoke nicely to me or not. None of this is relevant anymore. It is endless happiness. So this is very, very, very beautiful and also inspiring for us. And this is this verse, and we will see more about this beautiful state and its opposite in the next verses. Please join us. Om Shanti.